Did you know that if you invest in precious metals, you're a loser? Ho, ho, ho! But Darth, I thought you were the bad boy of bullion. You dang right I am. After all, I am the silver stacking Sith. And I'm going to tell you about it in hopefully 15 minutes or less. Coming up. Now, before you get triggered and become a keyboard warrior, let me explain. While this video is a bit clickbaity, I wanted to give some perspective and put something out there for the new blood in the space and tell you what the hardcore gold and silver bugs won't. Now, by no means am I a professional trader, wholesaler, or financial advisor, but I've been in the space since 2010 while I was getting a degree in economics. All not that long after the Great Recession. It was beautiful, really. As I was learning about money and value, suddenly everything clicked, and I had begun to gain interest in precious metals and start this new alternative way to investing. Over the next few years, I would scrimp and save my very tiny stack, and by the time I had graduated, I was all in. But pay attention to the time period, ladies and gentlemen. The Great Recession, a term that would live in infamy for almost near as long as its 2-year cycle, resulting in Americans losing $19.2 trillion of their dollars, caused primarily from the over-leveraged subprime mortgage markets. That is the relentless lending of money to participants who weren't fully prepared to pay off the debts incurred. While there are many factors leading to the near 2-year-long downturn, the effects of the bubble bursting would be felt long after. At the beginning of the recession, silver was about $20, and by the end of the recession, silver was still at $20. Seems as though the official call of a recession did nothing for the precious metals. But oh no, just you wait. The repercussions of the choices from the central banksters would continue their flow of helicopter money, and the dumping of the dollar would only continue. Check out the chart here. Which, oddly enough, just about the time I started investing in precious metals. Not realizing it at the time, I was basically buying the top. Being led by everybody's favorite gold bugs, Mike Maloney, Max Kaiser, the Kaiser Report, Jim Rickards, and everybody's crypto-hating buffoon, Peter Sniff, with the gospel of the precious metals loud and proud. A matter of bad timing? Sure, a little of this, a little of that. And regardless of my degree, it did not prepare me for the psychology that actually takes place in markets. I guess you could say I FOMO'd a little. But I stood firm and understood the fundamentals enough to stand my ground and continue the path of the stack, where most would probably give up. It wasn't until about 2014 and 2015 that I needed to expand and dip my toes into the traditional markets. I had grown weary of the no gains, no pain strategy that's offered with stacking precious metals. Yes, that's right, folks. I started my investing journey with precious metals. I'm finally in the traditional markets and I'm understanding diversification. But it wasn't long after I grew tired of the traditional markets too, and I knew I had to find something else. Mid-2016, enter Bitcoin. Ho, ho, ho! Where at the time a unit of Bitcoin cost about $600 to $700, and where I would eventually immediately start mining it. But why does this matter? I'm getting to that, don't you worry. I had entered a new phase in investing, and the sparkle of the metals was no longer an only solution to my freedom problem. And so I had to expand my horizons through the traditional markets to ultimately end up with my new fascination, the new kid on the block, crypto. Specifically Bitcoin. Now, this isn't my first crossing with Bitcoin, as I had heard about it from an old pot-growing friend, where I had insistently maintained my assurance that there was nothing better on this planet than gold and silver, and no new program money could change that. So says my new economics degree.
You can't handle the truth!
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you how wrong I was, and how much of a loser I was for simply thinking I knew it all. just like the heavily ingrained silver bug rhetoric I would continually programmatically spew out of my face. And so it was about 2012 where I drew the first line in the sand against Bitcoin, which at the time was roughly $5.14. So don't be like me. Heck, even in May of 2017, when Bitcoin had basically doubled the value of an ounce of gold, I thought I was hot shit, selling a half of a Bitcoin to get this very full 1 ounce of American Gold Eagle. My very first full ounce, in fact. And while it may be cool and it's very nice looking, and it's up a few $100s, the simple fact is I should have just kept the Bitcoin. It took me 4 years to fully understand and appreciate what Bitcoin and crypto and blockchain actually mean to me. Freedom. And almost all of the beautiful fundamentals that I adored in the precious metals now live in this new form of money, value, and tech. And then it finally dawned on me that this Bitcoin, crypto, blockchain was also a part of my path to freedom. And now I have a highly advanced portfolio that can take me well beyond the parameters of safety. I only bring this up to show that for as long as I had been a hard-headed, staunch, silver gold bug, I had passed up so much opportunity. I followed all the golden rules, buy low, sell high, DCA, all the way. It didn't matter. I was in fact a loser by sticking to this rhetoric. And no one, I mean no one, will tell you this. But the reality is that if you want physical metals to reduce your third-party risk, you're going to do it at a loss. It doesn't matter what time frame that you buy it in. There is always somebody making a percentage off of you. There's always the loaded cost of doing business, the cost of safety, security, storage. And the big talking heads will do and say whatever to get your fiat into their metals, some of which go completely out of their way to trash anything that isn't precious metals. I'm looking at you, Peter Sniff. It makes you wonder if this also invokes the greater fool theory that the bugs try to point out to the moon boys. Because after all, it involves you selling your bags to the next primed and precked bugged, does it not? I'm here to tell you, I've been in the crypto space for about half as long as I have been stacking metals. And by far and wide, no matter how many risks I took, no matter how many rug pulls I had endured, my time in this space has put me so far ahead, it would erase all of those mistakes, including stacking only metal. And not only would I surpass my metals holdings by 5x to 10x, I did it in half the time. In fact, it wasn't until the March crash of 2020 that my metals portfolio showed any time in the black. Trust me, I don't hate the metals, and I absolutely believe they need to be in everybody's bag of tools. What I don't like are bad actors. And so I'm calling those out in the community that refuse to believe that crypto is in fact worthy of the people's time. And shame on those that ever shat on the prospect of this new technology. You're also probably the kind of people that thought the internet wouldn't work back then and didn't understand what an email was.
That's that little mark with the A and then the ring around it?
At?
See, that's what I said. Katie said she thought it was about.
Yeah. Oh.
But I'd never heard it. I'd never heard it said. I'd always seen the mark, but never heard it said. And then it sounded stupid when I said it. Violence at NBC. What is internet anyway?
Internet is that massive computer network, the one that's becoming really big now.
What do you mean? That's big. How does one? What do you write to it like mail?
Right.
And others can access it.
Right.
And it's getting bigger and bigger all the time.
Just
it came
great.
in really.
Just
It came in
great.
really.
In my opinion, this is one of the greatest tools mankind has ever received to date. And anyone who listened to their silver slinging masters would continue to miss out on the real tool that could save them from this financial disaster we're in. And so, new guys, precious metals are not an investment. What? But you've been calling it an investment this entire time. Because that's what I thought too. But now I see it more like an insurance policy. just slightly better than keeping your value in fiat, only to let it deteriorate to inflation, especially today. And Bitcoin, crypto, they are my sword.
He charges Bitcoin seeing red. And the crowd storms the stage.
For which can take me far beyond the bounds of safety and bring me to a real citadel of freedom. Only doing one of these things alone will not get you there. And the metals, they're your shield, your insurance policy. After all, chess isn't won solely by playing defensively. You have to play offensively too. And that's why you need both. But why bring any of this up? Because after all this experience I've gained, the charts that I've read, the risks that I've taken, the playing field seems awfully reminiscent to the last Great Recession. The 2020 global event that took place, which led to the everything crash in March, was but a knee-jerk reaction and just barely a scratch of the surface of what is to come. With the massive amount of money printing that has taken place over the last few years, a still ongoing virus scare, geopolitical tensions turning war, countries considering trading goods like oil in different currencies, supply chain backlog, food shortage crisis with inflation in tow, and now with the Fed scrambling to maintain interest rates to try and calm the beast that they created. We definitely have all the ingredients which will lead to something even darker down the line. And when this baby hits 88 miles an hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
So what did you do with your stimulus? Did you put it into gold, where at the time of the first stimulus checks hit, gold was roughly $1,712. Approximately 2 years later, you just earned yourself a juicy 12.2% increase. Congratulations, you just barely squeaked by inflation. Had you put that into Bitcoin, where it was a measly $6,840 per Bitcoin, you would be sitting on a 5x currently, a mind-melting gains never seen in the metals. And that wasn't even the top. And what seems after a multi-month cool down from the highs, you could still buy 5 times more gold than you could have at the beginning. Though this YouTuber doesn't recommend that.
The price of Bitcoin was double the price of one of these, so I thought, hey, if Bitcoin takes a double and I want to hedge that loss, I want to probably put it in gold.
So be wary, new stackers. It won't matter what the Peter Sniffs of the world will try to shill you and push the rhetoric of what silver and gold could do, with the lofty prospect of triple or quadruple digit silver, 5 and 6 digit gold. After all, those are the very guys slinging the metal they want you to buy. In this Dark Lord's opinion, if silver and gold are to go to those crazy levels, we have even much larger issues to be concerned about. Because if we're talking those crazy numbers, well, we may as well say $100 loaves of bread, $100 gallons of gas, $100 gallons of milk. Why not? So prepare well and expand your field of vision, because stacking metals alone will not save you. You need something with an edge. You need something decentralized. You need something proven, reliable, and strong. You also need crypto. It's funny, all of the fundamentals built into Bitcoin and some other cryptocurrencies is exactly what the precious metals people love, and they continue to hate on it. It makes no sense to me. And so with that, don't be a loser like me and follow some of these steps that I learned along the way of my portfolio build. And they're all pretty universal. Have a plan. Make measurable and manageable goals. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. Don't go all in on one thing, or as they say, don't bet the farm. Make plays that can reflect every event that you would need covered. And of course, make sure there's food on your table and your rent's paid. Don't give into the talking heads trying to sell you metal or shit coins or doubling your crypto opportunities. They're not real. Evaluate your risk appetite and get used to taking risks. Even doing nothing could be a risk and will lead to an opportunity cost event. And it doesn't matter what you're doing or not doing, there is always an opportunity cost involved. If you go A, what did you lose by not going B? And if you went B, what did you lose by not going A? Of course, the higher the expected reward, the higher the expected risk. Learn to lose without emotion, which isn't easy because we're all human. Dollar cost averaging into anything never hurt anybody. Ask yourself, what else can you do to outpace inflation? Considering using decentralized finance protocols, or NFTs even, that have utility and pay you to hold them. Time in the market can be more valuable than any gain made. And it's not about what you make, it's about what you keep. Eventually, you can get to a point where you can allocate value no matter what the economic environment commands. And finally, hold on for dear life, no matter what you're doing. I hope this bit of perspective was useful to some of you and helped give you an idea of how I approach these spaces. By no means am I a trading god or a financial advisor or a professional for that matter, but nor am I hating on the metals, but I'm giving real information and experience for those new to any of these spaces. After all, there are a lot of bad actors who will do and say anything to push their biased agendas. And so hopefully this opens your eyes and broadens your scope. And if you got anything to add, just let me know down below. And don't forget to drop a like on this video. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification icon. That's gonna do it. Remember, keep growing your prosperity, wealth, and freedom. And we'll see you on the dark side of finance.